A lot of great players out there. Some, you see how I'm trying to transition. I'm trying to be like John. That's my New Year's resolution, is try to be like John. Some of those players might sneak into our Dudes of the Week, but we won't know until we do them. And with that said, Nick, it's just you and me. You got first. We'll just do back and forth. We don't have to do this
okay.
convoluted shit. So you just get the first, the third, and the fifth. I got the second, fourth, and sixth. So go on ahead.
All right. I'm picking first of the week. I'm picking Oscar Bob, just because his name's awesome, and maybe it's more of a shout out to his parents. Like, that's a sweet name, Oscar. I'm not someone that trusts people with two first names usually. Granted, Tucker can be used as a first name, but when I saw him, I'd never seen him play, and I saw that guy. I was like, dude, that's a sick name. I gotta shout him out.
So, were you unaware that we have talked about Oscar Bob before, or is this just the first time you've seen him play?
Both.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I was like, damn, we've mentioned him a couple times at the very least, but yeah,
I saw he's played in
Perfect
6 matches. I just didn't pay attention, but another young player that's really good for City. Shocking seeing that one happening.
Yeah, of course, It was Rico Lewis, or Phil Foden, Rico Lewis, now Oscar Bob, all going to be very good. I'm going to shout out the other half of the pod family, younger brother, and shout out Dylan Tucker here, and go with Mateus Cunha. Absolutely great game against Everton, beating down the Toffees. Even worse off. You watched that with Hank, I'm pretty sure, right? So that had to be kind of fun and sad at the same time. But great performance by Cunha. So shout out Wolf, shout out Dylan, shout out Mateus Cunha.
Yeah. I mean, thank God he's okay after he went knees first into the post.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always a scary one.
All right, I'm going to shout out the Wrexham boys. I'm going to shout out Elliot Lee and Paul Mullen. New contracts until 2026 and 2027. So they're in a position right now. Obviously, the season doesn't end, but if it did, they'd be automatically promoted. So they're in a good spot right now. And I think it's true what they say on the show. They're a pretty solid League One side. So we'll see how that goes. They're playing, who they play? Shrewsbury, who's mid-table League One on Saturday or Sunday.
And the FA Cup.
So that should be a good. Yeah, I think that should be a pretty sick test. But I'm glad to see those guys stay. And hopefully Paul's figured out his issues with his wife or partner or whoever she is.
Right. They're tied on points with Mansfield. Mansfield has a game in hand, and then they have a game in hand on Stockport. So they could actually go as high as first or second, depending on what Mansfield does. But yeah, big 4-1 win against Barrow, who was, basically a point behind them. So it's definitely a win to separate a little bit. All right, my second one, I'm just going to have to go with it because I'm not going to get to say it for a couple weeks, probably. Mo Salah, 2 goals and an assist after the penalty, got his penalty saved, scored another one. Absolutely ridiculous assist to Gakpo. Huge goal to get us off in the 49th minute. And just an absolutely... the most nerve-wracking 7xG game I've ever watched.
That's insane. That was insane when I saw that stat. That was absolutely insane.
It was actually man of the match is just straight up Dubravka because we could have scored like 15 goals, but we also some poor finishes, but he had some unbelievable saves. So I guess I'll duel it up unless you're gonna go Dubravka. I'm gonna go Mo Salah and Martin Dubravka.
No. I'll tell you who. I actually decided to go something different. I saw an article on FOTMob. It's how England's golden generation is doing as managers. And they're doing horrible,
very bad,
horrible. So I was reading through it, and then I went down. It has Stevie G at number 1, and it has Michael Carrick at number 3. So because Stevie G won the Scottish Premier League. But I want to say I'm gonna shout out Michael Carrick. He was down in second. I think it was second from the bottom at one point. Maybe 8 or 10 games in, and they're up there 12th, I think, right now, and they're 3 points, 4 points off of the playoff spots. So he's one of 2 managers of that generation to be over 50% win percentage. But I was just more shocked that they were. I knew they were bad, but that bad. Like Sol Campbell, 22% winning percentage.
That is not particularly good.
And Wayne Rooney not doing great either, but we could talk about that later if we wanted to.
Yeah, I was gonna I was actually gonna shout out my man Wayne right here, getting out of Birmingham. I don't know, this is maybe an ironic due to the week, but it just an insane basically was 2 whatever and like 2 and a combined 13. So like I didn't look at how you want to dice it up, but like they weren't that bad, and it's just like maybe they just don't get Wayne's style over there,
I was trying to ask them, like, they were in 5th. I didn't realize they were in 5th place, and now they're in 20th. Like, and I'm trying to figure out why did they fire. I can't find any like real reason why they fired the previous manager, outside of Tom Brady wanted to make a big splash,
right?
A big name signing. I'm like, who cares? You're winning. I would think that would, of all people, he would take that as a superseding factor, but.
I'll tell you what, man. It's one of those things. I think Tom Brady is probably like, just get somebody old and who was good, like one of the best ever, and like he's basically doing a Belichick because he thinks he can do it better. And Wayne Rooney and being a player Wayne Rooney and coach Wayne Rooney are not the same thing.
No. I mean, maybe Tom was trying to see if how an old great player would be as a manager if you hired him, see if he goes back into coaching to see how that works out, and doesn't look good for him.
No, definitely bad. Poor one out for Wayne. Seems like trying to be a good manager, but just needs the right fit, So
maybe I'm sure he'll pour a few out for himself.
Yeah. All right, dudes of the week, all done and finished there.